When I was 16, I met this guy from Grindr, and upon arriving at the address he gave me, I truly thought I was about to get murdered, and I was too scared to go the other way. Welcome to another episode of Gay Talk. Welcome to Gay Talk. Yes. I joined Grindr when I was 16 years old. Looking back at it, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I guess I just wanted the experience. Everyone at my age at school was coming in saying that they had a nice blast on the weekend, they were out with their girlfriend, they were getting up to the yogi koki, and me, I wasn't doing any of that. So I decided to download Grindr, and the whole aim of that was I wanted to meet a guy. I wanted to experience physical touch. I wanted to experience sex. Now, we all know when we're teenagers, when we're in our 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, our sex drive increases the higher up you get in age, right? Now, when you're 13 to about 15, your right hand's your best friend. And for a lot of people, that does the trick. But for me, that did the trick up until 16. At that point, it got boring, and I wanted to experience meeting a guy and seeing what it was like. Do you know what I mean? I always knew I was gay, but this was the next step into my personal sexual orientation, shall we say. Now, being young, I was naive. I guess I felt lonely. I wanted validation. I wanted the experience. And I guess I wanted to brag to my friends and say, oh, I've been with a guy. I know what it's like or whatever, right? So I downloaded the app and yeah, fair enough. It probably wasn't the sensible thing to do. When you're young, you don't realize the dangers. You don't realize things that can go wrong. I guess you think you're invincible, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't want to be one of these people that grew up and had no experience by the time they got to 18. I always felt like I would be ashamed of myself if I let that happen. I felt like all my friends would judge me. I felt like if I was maybe to meet a guy and he was to find out that I was a virgin or whatnot, that he probably wouldn't want to pursue things with me. So that's why I also wanted to get on Grindr and meet someone. So one day I'm browsing through Grindr and this blank profile taps my account. Now, if you don't know what a tap is, it basically means this person has came across your profile, they've love reacted it, and they're telling you that they're interested. Anyway, the blank profile came up and it told me the guy's age, he was 32. It told me what ethnicity he was, it was mixed, and it told me that he was slim. So all of those things I thought, this could work. So I asked the guy, can I see a picture of you, please? And to be fair, he sent me his salami first, and I was amazed. I thought, dang, that is one good looking salami. You know what I mean? So anyway, after that, I then says to him, nah, if you want to meet, seriously, I need to see what you look like. I need to see what your face looks like because it's a safety thing. Do you know what I mean? I want to know who I'm meeting. So straight away, he sent me a picture of his face. And to be fair, he was fit. So me and this guy start chatting on Grindr. Now, we're basically just talking about things that we're going to get up to when we meet. This guy didn't want to go on a date or anything. This meet was just like fun and go sort of thing. And I was happy for that, I guess. I just wanted the experience, so I wasn't complaining. There was some red flags there initially. He was quite demanding in things that he wanted to do. He didn't really care about things that I wanted to do. So maybe I should have taken that as a don't meet this person. But I still met him anyway. So obviously the chat has progressed from talking about the sort of things we're going to get up to when we meet each other to now exchanging addresses and gearing up to actually meet face to face and get up to these dirty shenanigans we were talking about via text message, which I won't tell you because it was quite nice, but it wasn't at the same time. So he gives me his address. He sends me a little pin drop of his location. And I look at the maps. Now, I'm very familiar with my city, okay? This was a kebab shop. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, is this guy going to put the buns apart in a kebab shop? That's what was going through my mind. And I won't lie, that sort of put me off. I was like, if it's in a kebab shop, not my thing. Turns out he had a small little room above a kebab shop. Now, when I say this was the dodgiest place that you could possibly ever meet someone, I'm not lying, right? It had massive wooden panel doors around it. It was like a construction site. It had a padlock as you go in. You got to undo the padlock, open this thing, and go on up the stairs, right? This was a construction site which had about 16 to 17 different people living there, and it was all tiny little rooms. So obviously it was an illegal sort of operation or whatnot. They had just disguised it as a construction site or whatnot. But anyway, this guy meets me outside and we dondle up into his little box room. Now, when I say the size of his room could only have a double mattress, I'm not lying, right? They designed it quite well. They had doors and all that stuff, and they had their own little privacies and stuff, but it was tiny. It was coffin-sized room, right? So here's me going up the stairs with him, going past all these different people that are living there, up to his room, feeling awkward and full of instant regret. When we got in his room and he shut the door, I felt trapped, right? I felt so trapped because I knew down the stairs there was a massive wooden door with a padlock on it, and I knew that we had to go way out into his room. And when we went in his room, he had one of these door locks. We could lock the door, take the key out. I just felt so trapped and helpless at that point. Not to mention the smell of his room as well. It smelled like a cross between Monster Munch pickled onion flavor crisps and the smell of stale cheesy feet is what his room smelled like. It was absolutely disgusting, and to be honest, I went from to that, if you know what that means. It was very, very disturbing. I instantly regretted heading to meet him, and I instantly regretted agreeing to go up the stairs in the first place. Probably should have backed out, probably should have went away as soon as I seen the building he was in, but I didn't, because I'm me and I'm naive and I know best. Every instinct in my body was telling me to leave this meet, but I couldn't build up the courage to tell this guy that I just didn't want to do things with him now. And I guess I also couldn't build up the courage to just go and try the door because I knew the door was locked. He had the key in his pocket. And I knew the door down the stairs was locked and he also had that key in his pocket. So I guess I just didn't want to deal with the confrontation which could come from that, which makes a lot of sense. So it's worth mentioning at this point, during this meet so far, not one of us have said a word to each other. It turns out the guy can't speak English. So when he's been talking to me on Grindr, he's actually been using Google Translate to convert what I've been saying to him into his language, and then been going in his language, converting that to English to tell me what he wants. So in this meet so far, no words have been exchanged. I didn't know that he didn't speak English at this point, right? And it's awkward as heck. I'm trying to talk to him. I'm trying to, say hi, how are you, and all that stuff, and he's ignoring me. I just felt like he was in a mood or he wasn't happy with how I looked or something like that. I didn't realize that he just plainly could not speak English. So like I said, this guy's room was like a cupboard room. Double mattress on the ground. That was the size of his room. He had a pole over the bed where he hung his clothes, and he had the shoes down the side of the mattress. So it was quite well laid out. So we're sitting on the mattress, on the floor, smelling pickled onions and cheesy feet, and me thinking, oh my God, me and this guy are not talking. I don't know what's wrong. Why is he not talking to me? The situation was just full of tension. I wanted to escape. I wanted it to be over and done with. And I just felt like things were going to go south. That's the only way I can describe it. It was full of panic. I bet you're wondering what happened next. Well, since how you asked so nicely, I'll tell you. He seduced me. He seduced moi. Me. That's right, he did. He basically grabbed me like this, pushed my head back on his bed, and whispered something in my ear. Bearing in mind I'm talking to him, asking how he is and all that stuff, right? No English. I'm sorry, what? I beg your pardon? We've been talking on Grindr and you've been speaking fluent English this whole time, and now you tell me you don't speak English. You had to get Google Translate to basically convert, I beg your pardon. I was taken back at that point. I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of relieved when he started doing the whole seducing thing and making the first move, because it went from feeling like I was a way to get murdered to, well, maybe I'm going home after this. So it was good, right? My guard started going down a bit more. I was like, right, I'm gonna get to see my family again. So anyway, when you or I go on a meet for fun, we have our preference. We have something that we might like to do more than other things, right? I had the one thing that I like to do more, but I'm not going to go into that because YouTube is not the place for that at all, right? Anyway, I'd made it clear to him on all of our Grindr texts that I was only wanting to do this one thing, and he was happy about it. So when we met in person, he's trying to get me to do the other thing that I didn't want to do, and he's been very pushy with it, and he's not taking no for an answer. And I'm like, ain't happening. Get your Google Translate out. Not happening, right? So eventually, we were clear that that wasn't going to happen. Good. Sigh of relief. Language barrier overcome, right? And then I start hearing him behind me going, I'm like, what is he doing? Is he waking up and realizing how bad his room smells, or is he doing something else? So I started going, and I smelled a chemical smell. The only way to describe it is it smelled like gas, like Clipper gas refills for your lighter or stuff like that. I'm sitting there thinking, is this guy sniffing lighter fluid? Like, that's going to get him high. And as a side effect of getting high, you can either be a chill high or you could be a violent high. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, shit is about to go down, right? He then puts his hand down like that to my face and says, sniff. I'm like, no thanks. Push away. I ain't sniffing that. What is that, right? So he's still trying to get me to sniff it. I'm like, no chance. So eventually he lets go, doesn't try and get me to sniff it anymore. I'm panicking like mad. Like, is he trying to drug me? Is this a thing that he goes like that and then you fall asleep? Like, I didn't know what was going on. So I'm in proper fight or flight mode. And luckily at that point, he could tell I was uncomfortable, and that was it. The meat was done. It turns out it was poppers and I was panicking over nothing. The guy wasn't even romantic. He opened the door, he went on his Google Translate, he said, there you go. And I was basically left to try and figure out my way out through this whole maze of 17 bedrooms and corridors and stairs, right? So, fair enough. He didn't get what he wanted, so he's probably just like, nah, I'm not walking you down the stairs. It's what it is, but yeah, very sad. My thoughts after that meet, as I was walking home, I think it hit me. I realized how dangerous meets could actually be. Fair enough, this meet wasn't dangerous, but this was one of my first meets with guys, right? So it was a proper lesson learned. Start talking to guys. Don't just talk about things that you want from each other. Try and get to know a bit about them. Get a good few face pictures. Maybe even send a few voice notes so you both know that you can speak English. So there's going to be no language barrier when you meet each other. I think I was relieved as well. I was relieved that it was over and done with. I think I learned a lesson to the point where, yes, you could go to a meet, you could get right outside that property, but it's never too late to say no and just turn around and go the other way. So, valuable lessons were learned from this meet. I guess I felt stupid. I guess I also felt like I was maybe a pushover, that I was inexperienced, I wasn't good enough. I think loads of different things were going through my head. It's like a whole cycle of things when you feel like you've let someone down, and when you feel like you've been too harsh in your head, or you feel like you've judged someone a bit too much. Loads of different things go through your head, but that's just me. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Please do engage with it as well. Comment below. The more comments, likes, and shares on the video, it just grows the channel, boosts engagement, and allows other people to find this video. So please definitely do that. It would mean the absolute world to me. And leave your video suggestions below as well, guys, on what you want to see. Loads of new videos upcoming, so make sure you stick around for them. I'll see you guys in the next video.